You are now tuned in to Radio with Gibs.
And welcome back. We are here with myself, co-host 3000, coming all the way from the UK, and Monica Jenea here. Tonight on Radio with Gibs, Ladies Editions, we're going to talk about just a little bit of background on myself. Jenea, if you want to go ahead and talk to Jenea.
That's an inside joke. Okay, listen. My name is Monica. I go by Monica Jenea. I have a YouTube page that's literally just my name, Monica Jenea. That's all about, my own personal experiences and how that's kind of shaped me to the person that I am today. Because who I am today is a lot different than who I was years ago. So, right. So it's all about, feeling empowered and just the steps that I've taken through like meditation, through creativity, work, education to get to the point that I'm at today, where now, I live in Long Beach, I live by myself, I'm out here doing what I can, trying to live my best life. So just sharing, my own experiences with the world.
Yes. So if you haven't already, go ahead, check out our YouTube. It's actually really good. I have known Monica a little bit about our background and relationship. What is it, 2015?
Yeah.
5 years. We used to work together. And
Can I tell what that was like?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I had just graduated school and I moved back to my hometown. And in my hometown, there's an Air Force base. And, honestly, for working in the mental health field, which I studied psychology, that's kind of the best option I could find for myself is a job working at the base. So I get there and I never done nothing military related at all. I didn't know any of what you call people. Like, I didn't know anything.
You had no idea.
I still be struggling when they be like staff sergeant, master sergeant. I'm like, I don't know, whatever.
You said, sir, ma'am.
Because that's what they told me. They said when you first get started, if you don't know, just say sir and ma'am. I'm like, all right, bet. So anyways, Joy was the one who basically gave me the tour. She kept it real with me from the beginning. Like, she just had good energy, good vibes. We literally just, of course, as I'm sure everybody tells her. But we literally just clicked from day one. And then I think it really sparked, tell me if this is true for you too, Joy, when we like hung out after work. Because I think I went to your dorm and
I was like, whoa, dorm days. Ooh.
I know. We went back to the barracks and she showed me like her place and she was showing me her art and fashion and all these different things. I was like, okay, like she about it. So yeah, we just became instant friends.
Yeah. So and since then, you moved around, but we still kept in contact, and now you're in Long Beach, LBC. Ugh, I miss sunny California. That's one thing I love you, England, but
we missed you down here.
Your weather needs to improve in your seasonings.
Yeah. We're gonna send you some. We'll send you some stuff.
Yeah. But today, what we're gonna talk about is a little bit what me and Gibbs had talked about in the previous episodes. We talked a little bit about astrology signs. I know you said what sign is the most spiteful. I already said my say on that.
What did you say?
I said Aquarius.
I say Scorpios.
Ooh, why do you say Scorpios?
Scorpios, just okay. I don't want to generalize, but from my personal experience,
but you're about to generalize.
But I'm about to disclaimer. If you're a Scorpio, I'm sorry, but Scorpios are very intense people emotionally. Mm-hmm. They're very serious, and I feel like if you heard a Scorpio, you think about it's a scorpion, like they sting. So they do 0 to 100 real quick, and I've seen it firsthand. So from my personal experience, I think the most spiteful is Scorpios.
Okay. If you're hearing this, we're not saying it's you, but if the shoe fits.
Why'd you say Aquarius?
I mean, you know why I said Aquarius.
I mean, I know personally, but
our listeners don't know why I said Aquarius. But my own, once again, personal experiences with Aquariuses are they are very hard to read.
Yes.
And mixed signals.
Okay.
I will leave it at that.
I get that. They're kind of floaty.
Yeah.
Kind of in and out.
Yeah, they don't really care about themselves or care about other people besides themselves. I mean, I'm sorry if you're an Aquarius.
You notice how we didn't mention either one of our signs.
Nope. By the way, I am a Taurus.
I'm a Sagittarius, so we literally didn't say nothing about our own sign.
You know they added a new sign, right? So now that pushes me to be an Aries.
What? What is the new one?
I don't know. It's like at the end of the month. So we're like Sagittarius is.
But that's where Capricorn is at the end.
Yeah, it's like close to December. Like what Sagittarius is, I think, is now the new sign, and they basically just added another sign, which bumped everybody else's like dates up.
How are you gonna change something that's been in place?
NASA.
Forever. Okay. I guess that just explains it. They can do what they want.
Yeah.
They can claim what planets exist. They can claim what signs exist. All right.
I still stand by Taurus, you know.
I'm still a Sagittarius at heart.
Yeah. Low key, when I was looking at the Aries traits, I was like,
You got a little fire in you.
Yeah, I can see it.
You got a little fire. It comes out at certain points.
Mm-hmm. What would it be for you, though?
If it pushes me
forward.
A Scorpio.
Ironic.
Maybe that's why I said that it's Scorpios. Because I'm like, I don't want to be that. I'm not trying to claim that.
Okay.
That's so funny. I'm going to have to look into this. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I was like, what in the world?
Mm-mm.
If you don't know, me and Monica are very much into astrology signs.
Yeah, it's something we talk about. We've talked about pretty much since the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with guys that we have like talked about with each other, like, okay, well, what sign was he? We really be asking.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like there's a certain level of truthness to it.
I agree. Have you ever done, do you know the app CoStar? Do you know about that? I'm gonna have to send it to you. So CoStar breaks down, like, if you really want to get into it, it breaks down all of your planets, the 12 different planets and the positions of when you were born. Yeah. And then it shows you like your sun sign, which is what you're talking about, Taurus and Sagittarius. Yeah. The rising sign, which is what people imagine, like people see you as. Yeah. And then your moon sign is how you deal with emotions. Yeah. So it breaks everything down more specific, which I like. Like when I read it, I was like, dang, this really is me. Like it's real specific.
I remember when Jenea, shout out Jenea if you're listening to this, she put us on the natal chart. Remember?
Yes.
Like, oh Lord.
She went deep.
She did. If you're not an astrology person right now, get into it. There's some good things into it.
At least know what your sign is, because if people like say something about it, at least you know what they're talking about. At least know that from your birthday.
Mm-hmm. I had a friend give me like a book that was like the most compatible sign with you sexually.
What's yours? Like, do you know what yours is?
I honestly don't remember anymore, but I still have the book.
Okay, we're gonna have to go through this.
Yeah, every now and again, I'll like look into it.
Okay,
but that brings us into one of our next topics, because we could talk the entire time about astrology, honestly. So what I did want to talk about with you, Monica, is levels of privacy. Ooh. We kind of talked about it with Gibs in our last episode about like what should we disclose in like the first date. What are some things that's kind of maybe you wait to disclose later on? And I kind of want to expound a little bit more on that. When you're in
Yes.
relationships, what is for you something you want A, to be disclosed in the very beginning? B, once you're in an exclusive relationship, when is it, what is your own personal views on like social media and being secretive or being private?
Yes. Okay. So it's funny that we're talking about this because I feel like I know we both have experiences where it's like
Talk
things
about
haven't
it.
been disclosed, but whatever. Okay. So let me go specific to my situation. I feel like to just start it off, your relationship status and what your intentions are should kind of be disclosed from the beginning. So, for instance, if I go on a date with somebody and I'm really feeling this person and I'm thinking we're on the same page, but then I come find out later that they're just looking for a good time, not a long time, I think that's something I should know. I definitely feel like that's something that I'm very upfront about. Like if I'm just kind of just out here just having fun, and just dating, just casually dating, I will say that if I'm dating, because I think there's a difference between dating casually and dating with intention. So dating with intention is like I'm dating with the intention of finding a partner and something long term. So everybody doesn't have to be on that same boat. Some people just want to date to have fun. I think that that's important to know. Also, I feel like kids and Jordan, you know why I say that? I feel like kids are something that should be disclosed very early on. If not the first date, at least soon. Because if I'm going into a situation with somebody and then I come find out later, you cancel plans because you taking care of your 2-year-old and I didn't know, you know what I mean? Like, and I didn't know, that's adding another element to a potential relationship that I feel like should be brought up from the jump.
Yes. And I honestly would take in kids, not as in just literal, like they're already born, but in the aspect of this wouldn't be like, maybe the first date, but maybe like a few dates in. Like if you're dating with intention, I feel like it's important to let the other person know if one, do you want to have kids? Two, are you able to have kids?
Ooh,
Because I
good
think
point.
for a lot of people, it's all like a no-go, like a deal breaker.
Right.
And
very true.
I know way too many people that, been dating for a month to year, and then they realize like their partner doesn't want to have kids. And it's like, well, you wasted my time this entire time. Like, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fully agree. Where do you stand in terms of, for you, like, do you see kids in your future? What do you see?
See, if you would have asked me when I was like 12, I'd have been like, yeah, I want a big old family.
Right.
And, the whole picture perfect marriage, real
Right.
kids. And then how does that grow up? Oh, keep in mind, I'm 26, y'all.
I'm 27. Just let me throw
not
that in there.
Right. I'm not that old, but I'm still not young 20s either. Also, military ages you, I feel like 10 years. So I feel like I'm really like 35 or 37.
Right.
36.
Right.
I should say 36. I don't know how to do math.
So I was like, that's not 10.
I know. I said it out loud. I was like, wait a second. Anyways.
It's okay. It's 2020. This whole year is a mess. It's okay. Keep going.
But now I feel like just my experience with so many people I am close with or family with that are, just baby mamas. And I know that's kind of a thing right now where like T.I.'s daughter just came out and she's like, oh, she's pregnant with so-and-so. And everybody was trying to give her a slack about, oh, everybody's just a baby mama. Same with Meek Mills.
Right.
Milano.
Right.
And everybody's like, what's wrong with that? Like, at least she's taking care of her children. And I don't know, like, I definitely want to be like married before I have kids.
Okay.
And as easy as I thought that was back in the day, I don't feel like it's as easy as it is now.
Agreed. I,
So,
I feel like now it's more common to find the opposite, where it's like, oh, we got kids and then we decided to get married, or then we decided to be together. Like
right.
I found that a lot
Or we
more
got
common.
married and then we got kids and then we
Yeah.
divorced and
Yeah.
now
Yes. We're
and
co-parenting.
right. And nothing against that. Nothing against that. You know, shout out to all the people who are really good co-parenters
Seriously.
and everything. That's really a hard deal, or people who have stepchilds or step parents, you know. But my personal
Preference.
preference is I want to get married once, and have children with said person,
Yes.
and that be all end all.
I feel you. I feel like similar for me, but I feel like I come from a different perspective a little bit, only because I would like to have kids if that was in the cards. I would like to have kids. What's interesting for me though is that I feel like marriage isn't a necessity, because I know a lot of people, and I'm not saying this is generalized, but I know a lot of people who are unhappily married and who only stay because of the kid. And right. And I'm like,
doing it for the family.
And I understand, I think that's very noble, you know, like I respect that. But for me, like, I really like the idea of it being like a partner and I are choosing this life. We are choosing like, and at any point, if we outgrow each other, if we, you know, whatever happens, because, you know, people change over time, people change. So if at any point, or, you know, and I think that would be a good discussion, of course, but if at any point we both felt like, you know what, the partnership isn't serving us anymore, I don't want to have to go through the legalities of it. I would rather it be like, we're civil enough, we're mature enough to be like, we can separate amicably. How do you say it? Amicably.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anemone.
I know. Anemone. I can't even say it. Anyway, to separate in a peaceful kind of way, you know, and not have to worry about all the details. Because I'm a hopeless romantic at heart. So it's like, of course, you know, and that's what makes it hard. Because I'm like, of course I want to be married, but it's not a necessity. I would like it, but it's not a necessity.
Yeah, that's I mean, we're basically touching on the same fact. Like I said, I didn't talk about that part as well. As much as I want that to happen, once again, it's not a necessity to me at this point. Because if it's not in the cards, it's not in the cards. I'm not going to force something that's not going to be there.
Right.
And yeah, I always say that I feel like marriages should be like a rental agreement. Like, you know, you want to re-up. But then at the same time, I see the opposite side of it, because then it takes the significance of the lasting.
Yes.
You know, so then it kind of devalues it a little bit. But yeah, so with that being said, what else do you feel like?
I know you said about the privacy thing.
Yeah, levels of privacy, Monica. What do you think is secretive?
Okay, this is a good question. I think I'll pull up an example. I think if you are in a relationship with somebody and you are still getting single DMs, to not go into details, but if you're still getting single DMs or text messages, I think it is out of respect to your partner, even if you're not posting them, to let it be known. Because, and the reason I say this, and I know you can understand this too, social media, while yes, some people just use it to highlight their life, some people use it for marketing and business. So let's say you have, like for you with trap art, let's say your Instagram was just completely trap art, and then people are like, well, why don't you post your boyfriend?
Because it's not for that reason.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you're trying to, like, for me, yes, I still post pictures of myself and whatever, but in my bio, everything is linked to my YouTube page. On my
Mm-hmm.
YouTube page, I don't have a partner sitting next to me. It's just me,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I just kind of use social media to highlight, without sounding kind of like an ego, but kind of highlight myself and what I'm trying to do.
Right.
So I can let it be known that I have a partner, but I don't think posting somebody is a necessity in my experience. What do you think?
Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I feel. I agree. I agree. Okay,
Okay.
let's start with that. I agree. Um, but personally, you don't have to post the person all the time, but I feel like as long as there's somewhat of an acknowledgement that you
Sure.
are, you know, taken, or you post, the other person doesn't have to be on your exact Instagram profile, maybe your story or whatnot.
Okay. Okay. I
Um,
agree with that.
then I think that suffices.
I agree.
I think if you're giving the impression that you are completely single and doing single things and promoting your single things, I don't know
Right.
why I'm saying things, but
Tings. The single tings.
then that's when I feel like it can get a little murky.
I agree.
Um, because then if it was the other way around, I'd be kind of like, oh, like I don't know, maybe like I don't know.
Okay. Here's another. I agree with that because I think posting somebody in your story is a good middle ground. It's like people view your story,
Mm-hmm.
people will see. So it's like, I'm not hiding you.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, here's a question. What if that person doesn't have social media? Do you still need to post them? Like
Hmm.
if they don't have an Instagram, or if you're on Facebook, if they don't have a Facebook, because you can't tag them and stuff. But I mean,
Yeah.
do you still
Yeah, I
post
still feel
them?
like the rules still apply.
Okay.
Yeah. Personally, I like to be shown off. That's just my thing.
Agreed.
I mean, there's a little bit of kind of like, I don't know, acknowledgement. Not that makes a relationship more meaningful or anything, but it's just kind of like, oh, like you're not afraid to show me. So it's kind of like a level of transparency between us.
Okay.
Now,
Fair.
caveat with that, is there such a thing as oversharing?
um,
Yes.
yes. I do think okay, I don't know if you agree with this too, but just in my own personal experience, I feel like I see oversharing more on other social media platforms more than Instagram. And I feel like the reason I say that is because, like, I know people, I don't really get on Facebook too much, but I've seen like posts where people are like, me and my baby's father just got into an argument. He said this, I said this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And just like going into detail so that, and then people are commenting and like, oh, what happened? Like, I feel like the
It's no
personal,
longer
yes,
your relationship, it is everybody's relationship.
right. So if people have an opinion about what you're saying, you can't say nothing because you put it out there. You put
Yeah.
out your problems, you put out, the struggles, and then of course, I mean, I feel like it makes sense that people would form some kind of opinion. I think that
Mm-hmm.
oversharing the details, the arguments, the stroke, you know what I mean? Like the challenges that y'all go through that maybe you don't feel like were constructive, oversharing in
Mm-hmm.
that way, I definitely think happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like with that being said, I mean, it kind of goes with the whole social media aspect. Don't believe everything that you see in social media because everybody posts the great highlights. So
Yes.
even though, all a person posts is good things about their significant other, that doesn't necessarily mean their relationship is, hashtag relationship goals.
Right. Right.
But I definitely disagree with putting any type of like arguments and feelings towards a relationship. I get it for some people, like they're just that's part of their platform. They want to show every aspect of their life. And I get that, but don't complain about it. Once
Yes.
people get involved, because
Yes.
that is the rule that goes with it. If you're going to disclose it, don't be offended when people get involved in it.
Exactly. It's kind of like what I feel like you see with like YouTube couples, because
Yeah.
they like put their whole life out there. And then when people form opinions, it's kind of like they get mad. I've seen, like all
They
y'all gotta
respect my
judge.
privacy.
Right.
And it's
But
like,
you just showed the argument yesterday. Like
yeah.
you just called, y'all were going back and forth the day before. Like, so I think it's a choice. If you want to put your whole life out there, then yes, you do kind of have to accept what comes with it.
Right. Now, at the same time, I do say it is kind of smart that people who don't post the bad fights and the very like, happy posts, keep it strictly like that. I'd probably be more in that category if I was to, do that, just because I think it's bad relationship etiquette to bring in negative whatever's going on between you and your partner into a third party platform type social media, whatever, because then that just invites, to me, opportunity to get other people's opinions that they're not in the relationship with you. So why does their matter?
Opinion matter?
Right.
Yeah.
If there's an issue, bring it up with me.
Exactly.
If you don't want to talk about it with me, talk about it with your brother, your sister, someone that's close with you.
Right.
But don't put it out on social media.
Agreed. And then it's like the subtweets,
subliminals.
The subliminals, Joy. When it's like, you don't got to tag me, but I know this is about me. Like it's just, obviously it's about me. I don't play that. I really don't.
I look back at my like really, 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 really old Facebook posts and even MySpace, and I was like, I was an emotional. I'm so serious. I was so emotional. I was definitely one of those people that I'm just talking about right now. Like, I'd say like how I felt, and I was just so angsty and.
Me too.
Oh God. Now I'm like, listen, if I have a bad day, nobody's really gonna know about it.
Unless I want you to.
Exactly. But not to get a sense of like, I don't know. And once again, this is not trying to put any type of, you do what you do on your platform. I know some people, like I said, are very open about their life, and if anything goes wrong, they talk about it, but that is not me.
Right. And that's not me either. I think that's something you and I definitely have in common, is that we may talk about it with each other.
Right.
But the conversation ain't going outside of there.
Right.
Like, what's going on in my life. I know what's going on in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I feel like. That's why it's very important, especially when you are starting something with somebody or whatever, to have a strong support system. Yeah. Because I feel like maybe if you don't, maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe if you don't feel like your support system is really strong, maybe then you're kind of seeking out to the world for that advice or support. But if you have solid people in your corner, then I feel like maybe you would turn to that a little bit less.
Yeah, because typically what I feel like I see is like people are seeking validation, or like you said, they don't really have that many people to come to. So, which is sad, and I get it.
Yeah.
And also that communication part with your partner. Like,
yes,
I've been in the seat where I've had somebody who wanted to just post everything, and talk to everybody about what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know. Like, I'm not going to say no names.
I apologize to my listeners. Monica knows my life inside and out, so there are lots of little inside jokes between us.
Even though sometimes she has to say like little keywords for me to remember. I'm like, oh, okay. I I know you're talking about.
It's
Okay.
like keywords. Okay. Anyway, so did I like being showed off? Yes. Was it too much? Most definitely. Because at the
So
end of
what's the
it,
good balance?
well, okay, so what happened at the end of it, it was like, whenever we split ways, I thought it was amicable, mutual. But apparently it wasn't, I guess. And so said person posted a thing on social media. All of his followers that do not know me decided to have an opinion on our said relationship that was no longer a thing anymore. And now I'm getting blown up from my phone from a whole bunch of friends that are like, Joy, like, do you see what's going on? And I'm just like, why? Why is this even a thing? Why are people contacting me about my relationship that should have been handled between me and the other person? And then that post was deleted, and then a public apology was sent out. And I'm just like, what is
what kind of situation?
Listen, I'm not no celebrity. We don't need no public apology.
That's what I was saying. Like what is this?
I don't know. I mean, the thought was there. I get it because the original post was public. But like, once again, it's not necessary.
Right.
It is not necessary.
Not that serious.
Yes.
Girl, trust what you know full well. I have experienced the same thing where my image was completely tarnished to the people in that person's life because of something that they posted, where basically it made it look like I was the reason that things ended, when there was a lot of things that happened where I'm like, that ain't the whole story.
Yep.
And it was very biased, and it was very like sympathy seeking, and people gave the sympathy, but then it made me into like the bad guy. So I know full well. And see, that's what I mean. Like, that's the power of sharing information on social media, because your whole view of somebody can change like that if you are, paying attention to what people are saying about this person, or reading the comments on different posts and things. Like, it can change a lot within a relationship.
Exactly. So that's my whole thing on it. But I would say, okay, so I do post a lot on social media, right? But I am private to a point when it comes to my relationship status.
Get into it, Joy. What do you mean?
Don't do that. I know what you're doing here.
This is so funny.
I think because the last experience I just talked about was kind of like the last, exclusive relationship I had. So going forward with that, I was like, okay, learn my lesson. Not going to be as public as I was from the point going forward.
Right.
But I do still would like to post my other significant other, because I feel like that's important. I feel like you're about to say something, Monica, right now. What? Say it. What you want to say?
I just want to know, well, because this is something that I think we know full well. Okay, if we're really getting down to the nitty gritty, so let's talk about if you post somebody on your story, right? Now, Joy, there's supposedly this idea that certain people, like, they'll post a picture of 2 plates, but it won't post the person's face. Or they'll post a picture of, 2 sets of shoes, but don't show who the shoes belong to. And let that be it. Do you feel like that suffices for letting it be known that you're with somebody?
I feel like if I answer the wrong way, it's gonna come back on me.
Be honest.
I want to say yes.
Okay. And I agree. You know, I agree.
Caveat. If all the pictures are faceless,
right,
that's when I feel like it becomes kind of question of, are you being secretive? Or are you being private?
Okay.
So I'll admit I have done that.
Oh, have you?
Don't act surprised, Monica.
I'm sorry, y'all. I just give Joy a hard time. That's why I asked the question.
I have done that. But once again, parentheses.
Yes.
In the notion of I was not in a exclusive committed relationship with that person.
There you go.
So to me, I don't really owe you a face picture.
There you go.
Can I post, the plate, a hand, a foot? I know this was like a thing with the whole hot girl summer type thingy about like girls getting trips off with people that they never post who they're on the trip with.
Right. It's just them.
Yeah, I was that girl. I'm not sorry about it.
Yep.
But that's just because, like, once again, I am not with that person. But does that mean I have to post who I'm on a trip with if I'm not with them? No, I don't feel like that's something that needs to be shared.
Agreed.
Now, if I'm in a relationship with someone, then I feel like that changes the dynamic a little bit.
So the face is shown.
The face is shown.
Understood.
So
I like that.
Good
response.
Thank you. What about you, Monica? Don't ask like this is gonna be an ask back.
Okay. I 100% agree with you. If I am in a committed relationship where both parties agree and it is like we're official to the point where like I tell my friends, maybe some of my family, like I'm in a relationship with this person, I'll post you. I don't have any problem posting you because I feel like when it gets to that point, I'm already like, I'm not somebody who gets into relationships easy, and I know you aren't either. And so if I'm in a relationship with somebody, I'm serious about that person.
Yeah.
Like it's not just a game, So yes, if I'm in a relationship with them, yes. Now, if I like someone and and we're feeling things out.
Yeah.
Same thing. I may allude to somebody being there. I may show you in the background.
Yeah.
But I don't feel obligated to put you center stage because for whatever reason, we aren't at that point yet.
Right.
And I think that that's a very specific kind of approach, but I understand it because I think that goes back to that privacy where it's like, I can be private about who I'm dating. Like if I'm just dating somebody, I can be more open about who I am committing to.
Yeah. I just feel like that just comes down to to me, I look at it as if, okay, if I introduce said person, something happens. And it was like, I mean, prime example, Amber Rose, or Black China, always in and out relationships, right?
Yes.
I'm not trying to look stupid.
Right.
So why should I always post who I'm dating if it's not where I feel like they're going to be lasting?
Exactly.
So
because we all make mistakes. We all get connected to people we probably shouldn't. Yeah. That's a whole other topic.
Listen.
That's listen, Joy. It's just, I know. Let me sip my drink.
So, I think that's a perfect segue into. Actually, no. I don't feel like we're necessarily done with this topic yet. 'Cause I feel
Okay.
like we touched on quite a few things. Okay, so what else do you consider private versus secretive?
I think if you are with somebody and you ask them, okay, communication is very important to me. Open
Right.
communication is very important, especially with somebody that I'm trying to be serious with. So I feel like if you sense blocks where it's like, why is it when I ask you about this, you shut down?
Mm-hmm.
Or why is it when, this topic comes up, you don't want to talk about it? Like, I think that there should be a level of transparency where each party feels comfortable asking each other questions, kind of, because that's how you get to know somebody. Like you and I know each other because we opened up to each other.
Yeah.
You know, and shared our own personal experiences. And so I feel like if it's something that matters to me, like relationship status, kids, past serious experiences that you've been through, things like that, and there's a block there where it's like, I don't really want to talk about that, or let's not go into it. That's ding ding ding. Like,
I also feel like kids, not just do you have a kid, but what is your relationship with the kid's father or mother?
that's it.
Because I feel like it's like, oh yeah, I got a kid, but I mean, are you still smashing?
What happens when you go pick up the kid?
Are you co-parenting?
Do y'all meet at IHOP or do you meet at the house?
Right. What is exactly the nature? Are y'all cordial? Is it not cordial? Were y'all married? Were y'all not?
Yes.
Like,
that matters.
To me, I need to know this. So
agreed. Because I've been in a whole situation
yep.
with a child involved where the clarity of the past wife wasn't fully disclosed. Come to find out, there's still feelings there, and it's like, oh, but I met your child.
Yeah,
it's kind of a big deal. That's a big deal to me. Big kids are a huge deal to me.
Exactly. I think it's one thing to disclose you have a kid, and then it's another thing to, like, when do you introduce the kid? And I feel like that can take, a long time, however long you feel comfortable to introduce a kid, that's fine.
Yes.
I don't think you should really necessarily bring your kids in right away until you're sure. And so I think in that situation, it kind of happened backwards a little bit.
It was super quick.
Yeah.
Where it was like, hey, we're going to go do this. Come with. I'm like, is that okay? Like, I'm thinking about the mom.
Right.
Because I'm like, how would I feel? Like, I don't know, just some girl you're dating. I think that if there is a civil enough relationship with the co-parents, it should be to the point where that person, you could introduce each other, where it's like, this is who's going to be around our kid. You know what I mean? Like, that's a respect thing.
I agree. If you're going to bring somebody around the kid, go ahead. But if they're not going to, then yeah,
it's not necessary.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about introduction to family and friends. What level is there that becomes secretive, or just the right amount of time?
I'll say this. For me, I communicate with my friends more about my relationships and like dating than I do with my family. So, right. I love my family. I do, but I'm very private about my family because there's a lot of elements there, and I don't let just anybody meet my family members.
Yeah.
So I have to for you to meet my family, I have to be to the point of I love you. Like it has to be like we are in this thing together
Yeah.
type of thing.
When's the last
Because
time someone met your family?
my ex, that's it. So that was 2000, that relationship ended 2017. That's the last girl. I don't play about the family, and I know you don't either. Like,
No.
what about you? When was the last time?
I mean, okay, keep in mind I'm in the military, so it's a little bit different.
Yes, I understand.
Snap. I would say 2000. 2011.
Ooh, you talked about me, Joy.
Like I said,
How old were you in 2011?
I was like a
Well, that's out of high school. That's just
yeah.
right. 18.
No, I was a junior or senior.
I graduated in 2010. You graduate. What year did you graduate?
2012.
Okay, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, so I was like a
Yeah.
junior or a senior in high school.
Joy.
Listen. Listen, Linda, okay?
Linda, listen.
Like I said, I've been in the military. So like, have I had boyfriends since then? Yes, I have.
I was gonna say 9 years, bruh. 9 years.
9 years. But have they been, to the point where they've met my family, and that includes a flight to go back to?
True.
No.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
that's all I gotta say on that, Maybe.
Now what about friends?
Okay, friends. Friends I'd say I'm definitely more open to. Like
Me too.
my friends know. I mean,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Vice versa. Like you know what's up.
Right. But I feel like that's just because there's like a little bit more leeway.
Yes.
Like I feel like with family, it's so permanent, and I don't know about your previous experiences, but my last one, was introduced to well, okay. So 9 years ago, physically met. Now, if we're just talking about like introduced via like, you know,
Technology type thing.
technology, yeah, phone, whatever, 3 years ago.
Okay.
So not that long, guys. Now that I feel like, I want to say it's kind of created some like, I just want to make sure the next time I'm in a relationship is for sure.
Yes.
Because that experience my family was a little bit more involved than I wanted to, even though they never physically met the person.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up working out. So once again, I don't like looking stupid, and I felt like I looked stupid in that instance because of it. So
right.
I'm a little bit more hesitant to bring my family into it.
Yes, and both of our families are opinionated people. so my family will tell me, and I'm sure it's probably similar for you, because the last experience didn't work out. My family will pretty much tell me straight up if they think it'll work or not. So they pretty much give their judgments fast, like to the point where my family still asked me about my first boyfriend, like that I ever introduced them to. They're like, whatever happened to that person? I'm like, dang, y'all, that was in high school.
Same,
right.
Same.
My mom like y'all still caught up in that
special one that was just like,
that's the one who they're like, well, he was nice. I'm like, yeah, but
that was,
I was 17, 16.
Right.
I was a child.
So let's talk about that portion about what if you are really into somebody and your parents are like, don't like them. Do you break up with that person? Or do you not get your parents' blessing?
Ooh. Ooh,
and
that's
continue to
tough.
be with the person?
I think luckily as I've gotten older, I have more of like a open communication kind of thing with my parents where maybe they don't know details of my life, but I feel like if I ask them what's the reason you don't approve of this person, that they would tell me. Like I think that they'd be like, it's because of this. Or, you know, whatever. Maybe they gave a bad first impression or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think we'd have to discuss it first. But if I was, dang, that's hard. Because if I was really, really like in love with this person and I really wanted my family's approval, I think I would like just try really hard, like whatever they said, whatever feedback they gave, I would do my best to be like, well, you know, let's try a different situation or let me talk to this person about it. You
Yeah.
know, like let me see. Like I would want to figure it out first before I decided. Because yeah, my family matters a lot to me. You think about holidays, you think about things like that. Like if I know y'all don't like this person, we got to come home for Christmas.
Yep.
That's kind of an issue that I don't want to have. So I think I would, before I decided anything, I think I would really, really have to like have open conversation with my parents and my partner.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they see a red flag that I don't. And if that's the case, then I definitely would have to consider it. If it was something serious, if they're like, I caught this person lying about what,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Something like that.
Is it
Okay.
something changeable or?
Yeah, exactly. Or is it like something permanent about like their character? Then I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll
Yeah.
hear you out.
I've seen a post circulating about how this person was like, I'm not just marrying into the man, I'm marrying into the family. I want to be, going to the barbecues. I want to go shopping with your sister-in-law and,
Yes.
all that. And I think me as and you are very family oriented, where compared to
Mm-hmm.
some people are like, nah, it's just me and my man. Like, and as I understand like not all families get along well together. But I do feel like, I don't know, there is like, because I feel like there's like a level of, I want not only my family to like the person I'm dating, but the person I'm dating's family also to accept me.
Yes. Yes.
Because then
100%.
if they do, I don't know, it just is like, I want to have that type of like, I can go to holidays and not feel weird or,
Right. Out of
mm,
place.
right.
Yes.
So I'd say I have the same perspective on like, if my family's like, nope, don't like said person. And my mom's pretty good about it.
Yeah, she'll tell you.
Yeah, I'd be like, I might think about it. Not that I'll break up with the person right then and there, but I'll think about it.
Right. I'll consider it.
Yeah. So
So we're both family oriented.
yeah, yeah.
Do you feel like we have any like do you feel like as women, especially as we're talking about relationships and things, do you feel like there's any like double standards that like we deal with that or just between the sexes? Do you feel like there's any kind of relationship double standards?
Most definitely. I think there's definitely a double standard of, okay, I mean, let's point it out right then and there. If you marry a woman, you expect them to cook, throw down like your mother.
Come on, and grandma.
Right. Be great in the bed. Have, the best cleaning, everything, like the very traditional cook, clean, do what you're
Yes.
told type mentality. And vice versa. I think there's also a double standard of men are supposed to provide still, even in this day and age. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's kind of most of it. And the women is supposed to like take care of the kids and hold the most responsibility when it comes into taking care of the kids. So
Yeah. Agreed.
yeah. But I think personally, It needs to be more even, especially when it comes to the responsibility of children.
Talk about it.
And not just women need to cook. 'Cause I know some men that can throw down, okay? They can throw down in the
That's
kitchen.
so attractive to me.
Right? That's what I'm
That's
saying.
that's so men who can cook. I'm sorry, but that's extremely attractive.
Right. If you know how to cook, listen. You listen.
My
I feel
heart.
like just as attractive as I feel like a guy seeks for that in a woman, it's just the same. I want to come
Agreed.
home from work and have dinner. I want to come home and have, my, I don't know, whatever kitchen cleaned or
I want to have my bath ready with
right,
the candles because I
right,
like certain scents, and you got my favorite music playing. Come
right.
on.
And on the same handle, I do think women do need to provide as well. We need to
Agreed.
get rid of the notion that men need to provide and have all the pressure of, income on their hands. Like, for me, I wouldn't feel comfortable with a man solely providing for me because
Me
then
either.
I feel like that's a level of control of like, you control where the money goes, you control a little bit where my life goes. And, some people are okay with that. More power to you. But for me, like, I think it needs to be even now. Like,
50-50.
you bring in money, I bring in money. Let's make money together
Right.
and contribute to, the same type of bills. 'Cause I know there's also like this false thing of, okay, well, the man will pay like the major bills, like rent, I don't know, gas, electric, and then the woman pays like the phone bill.
Right.
Or like,
Right.
like
Or
I'm
the
contributing,
groceries.
right? Or the groceries, like I'm still contributing. Like no, like you also need to pay in on your half.
Because the thing is, I agree with that. Like one person isn't always going to be up. Stuff happens. Look at the situation we're in right now. A lot of people who probably providers losing their jobs. I feel like it's very important to know, like, look, if I fall off for whatever reason, or if I fall back, I got a partner there who can pick up the slack.
Exactly.
It's very important, that even balance where it's like, I can lean on you, you can lean on me.
Exactly. And then I feel like there's like more of a sense of responsibility in that as well.
Yes.
And less stress on, who provides for who and
Mm-hmm.
who pays for the bill. I'm definitely, like I've said it before in the earlier podcast, like I'm definitely one of those where like I don't mind paying for the other person's dinner. We can go, I'll pay for this dinner, you pay for that dinner.
Right.
Back and forth, etc.
Right. Especially if I know you've been spending a whole bunch of money because we've been going out often, or we've been spending a lot of
Mm-hmm.
money. Look, I understand. Like, I got it.
Right.
Yeah, I can definitely help out.
Right. So that's why I feel like that double standard comes up. What about you? What do you think of when it comes to double standards?
I think, agree with what you were saying. I think to piggyback off that, I think when it comes to relationships, there is an emotional double standard, because I think that women we kind of talked about this, off
Mm-hmm.
air, but I feel like women are usually seen as the victim and the
Mm-hmm.
circumstance. They're seen as the one who, oh, poor her. And in situations that is the case. But I personally know quite a few men who still are affected by their first heartbreak,
Mm-hmm.
whether they got cheated on, or a marriage didn't work out, or whatever the situation, maybe she chose somebody else, or career, or whatever. I know men who still think back on their first love, and I think that there is totally a double standard where it's like women are the quote unquote emotional ones, so they're
Mm-hmm.
the ones who are feeling things deeper, they're the ones who are more in love, when in reality that's not the case. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
men express it differently than maybe sometimes women do, but there's also
Mm-hmm.
very expressive men. But yes, I do think that emotions and the effect of relationships, there's a double standard in how women are treated versus how men are
Post
treated.
breakup.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like whenever somebody, I mean, I know, like whenever somebody breaks up, I'm like, oh, like what did he do?
Right. Me
Like,
too. I know, it's so bad. I'm sorry.
Right. I mean, and that's why I feel like that needs to go away. And also with the fact of whenever a man and a woman break up, like women, I feel like have more support to kind of process those emotions, right? Where I
Right.
feel like, I mean, I hear it all the time. Dudes get broken up with, go to their homie, and most of the time the way dudes process their emotions, like, oh, you're good, you'll get over it. Like, let's just like go out, or
Right.
like let's not really talk about it. Let's just kind of like band-aid it.
Right.
And not really talk about our emotions. Where with females, like I know if you were to be like, man, Joy, like me and so,
Right.
broke up, I'd be like, all right, like let's talk about it. Let's have a movie night or something.
Right,
Like,
right.
you know what I mean?
Crying.
Like, right. I feel
Yep.
like the way that women are not, I won't say conditioned, but more, I guess we're more in tune with our emotions.
Right.
Where men aren't.
And we're more allowed to be.
Yes.
Because men who are more emotional get classified as weak or feminine or whatever. But it's like,
I hate that.
Me too, because I feel like I've experienced kind of both sides. I've experienced the guys who are, they don't really talk about their emotions at all. And I've experienced guys who are very emotion based and make things based off of emotions. And I don't think that has anything to do with your manliness, quote unquote. I think that's just everybody processes things differently. And I feel like men should have the openness to be able to really say like, yo, like if you got hurt, you got hurt. Like we all have been there. Maybe we could empathize more than judge,
Exactly. I definitely agree with that. I feel like there's not as much empathy for men.
Yes.
When it comes to breakups. Let's just clarify that.
Right. Gotta be specific.
Right. But that was rolling up on an hour here, guys.
Wow, that went by so fast.
It really did. Definitely gonna bring Monica back. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having
Ladies
me.
Edition.
Yes, I loved it. I finished my wine.
Yeah. If y'all like this, please let us know. Tune in. Go subscribe to Jenea's YouTube.
Yes.
Monica Jenea.
That's MonicaJenea. Because I know Jenea is spelled differently. So my middle name is Jenea.
Yes. And if you follow me on Instagram, I have it on there as well. So
yeah, we be hyping each other up.
Yeah. So anyways, that is all for this episode. If you want more, let us know, and we are out.
Peace,
with co-host 3000 Joy and Monica.
Thank you for having me, love.
All right.